Yes, welcome to London's Craziest Gangster with me, Mr. Fish, keeper of the dead man's Bible, where all the rules of society are thrown, tossed, and washed away. Pain became my friend, happiness my slave, love can't hurt me, money can't buy me. Well, money can't buy me. If I'm your friend, I'm your friend. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't come to me and say, Fish, let's go and do this, fella. And that, yeah? And I love Carter. And it's those that hate me that make me. In other words, you hate me and cause me to go to war, then let's do it. Right. Here we go. Enjoy this show. He's going to make a mind how you go. Court. Courts are funny. You know when you're in the game, yeah? You know if anything goes wrong, you got to go to court. Yeah. Isn't it funny how people we all go through the game and we never understand the court, solicitors, barristers, and judges, how it all works, you know? And, you know, it can be quite scary. Now, I remember I've been to the Old Bailey, which is the highest court in the land. And I could have brought down a significant amount of people as it was to do with the police coming out of the police armoury. Now, when you go to the Old Bailey, yeah, it's a different game. It's a different game. On it. On it. You gotta be, listen, see, we got that Old Bailey, yeah? That's when you know you're in the game. Yeah. And, you know, but don't get it twisted, yeah? Sometimes you can see a man in an ACAT bus, 3 cars in front, 3 cars in back, traffic stop. But that don't mean he could in the game, because he could still be an absolute idiot. Yeah? Let's get it right. Anyone can pull a trigger, anyone can start, anyone can get anything from anywhere. So let's not hype up the game. Just because a man's in an ACAT bus, 3 car, that don't mean to say he's someone. Yeah? It just means he could be an absolute CUNT, but done something stupid. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm in that Bailey. When you're in that Old Bailey, you have to know what you're about. And one of the funny things I notice with people when they go to court, they don't study their paperwork. Yeah? They don't listen, they get barristers and briefs. Sometimes dealing with the law is not what you need here. It's not the requirement. Yeah? Sometimes you need to have public thinking. And that's where people that think they're criminals, or I'll tell you what, when these kids today don't go to work, yeah, when they don't mix outside their circle, yeah, when they don't float in the story of life, yeah, and mix among people, what happens is crash, yeah. They don't know how to think like the public, and so crash. You're always thinking like criminals. So when it's time to get out of trouble, you can't get out of trouble. You can't, because you don't know how the public works. Yeah? I mean, one of the very first important rules of going to court is to get the judge to understand that what you did was not born out of criminality. That's the first golden rule. Let me tell you, listen. If you can't do that, then get out the game. Yeah? Because that's the difference between, say, getting 3 years and 15 years. You understand? So your first thing is always to try and let the judge understand that whatever you've done was not born out of criminality. That's the first thing. The second thing to understand is, just because solicitors are called solicitors, yeah, Crash, how's your father, don't mean to say, Crash, that they're in the game, that they're on the ball. Come on, mate. You know what I mean? They're not. Yeah? Now, I had a case once, and I had to laugh my bollocks off, right? I remember there was a guy, he jumped out a window, yeah? Well, actually, he wasn't even jumping out, he was looking for the window. And I remember I went up this window and I said to the kids, and I said, "Wait, what are you doing, yeah? Stop it." I said, just you know, this one show about it. I said, "Oh, what are you doing? Stop it, yeah?" So these kids are looking for the window. I said, "Stop it." So anyway, they go, "Oh, fish, yeah, crash, yeah." So I've shut the window like that, yeah? Now, what I've done, so I looked through just to make sure, you know the coup, you know. Always look after the public, you know? Always look after your own. Make sure no one's hurt, or they ain't done that. You understand? You know, sometimes you do that, don't you? And then say someone's in bits. So just I went like that, just to quickly check that no one was in, yeah? Push the window. Anyway, about 3 weeks later now, Bill come to the door, yeah? Come through the door and again, "Mr. Fish, we're going to nick you for burglary." And I'm looking at these people and I'm like, "Are you smoking crack?" "I don't do burglaries." I mean, I'm getting twisted. I'm not burglary. You don't go in people's houses and take their thing. That's muggy. You know what I mean? So anyway, but the headache was, it was in a place where you go, you know, you mix and you meet people and you buy different things of them, you know what I mean? So the problem with this burglary charge was, I was thinking, have I brought something off someone? Have I done something? What has gone on here? Have I, you know, where is this? Have I been in there? What's going on here? Yeah. And so when I got to the station, I said, "Look, you need to take me to the place so that I can at least find out where it is, so I know what you're talking about." Because at the moment, the way this is going, I don't know, I'm not going to. But, you know the old Bill, being the friendly, nice, kind people they are, they wouldn't take me there, so they reminded me. So I'm reminded blind, yeah? That's the problem you've got to do with old Bill. You got, like I said to old Bill, you know, we need them, but, you know, there are some scummy, dirty, filthy old Bill. That's just the end of the way it is. But we need them. And so it's just a luck of the draw, isn't it? So Crash, how's your father? I've got my brief. Do me a favour. Go and take a picture of this place and bring it to me, because I need to know what the heck is going on here. So he took a picture of this place and he brought it to me. And I started laughing. And I said to this guy, my brief, "Oh, look, mate, this is civil." I goes, "Look." I went past that house and there were two kids, looking in. And I see them. "Oh no, you know you don't do that, do you?" I said, "Come on, boys, leave it. It's not worth it. You get me? Like, come on, mate." And so, as they walked, I just quickly looked to make sure it was alright and shut the window. Yeah? Didn't even think that it will come back as burglary, because you know, nothing had gone missing, and there was nothing aware that I was not aware that anything had gone missing, because they'd gone. So to me, they just opened and shut the case. So when he showed me this, I started laughing, and I explained to him what happened. And so he went back, and he said to the police, "Oh yeah, right, this is what happened," and blah blah blah. But then he came, but after he spoke to them, he came back to me and said, "No, your window is on the inside. Your fingerprint is on the inside of the window at 9 o'clock. So you've been inside." And this is what I'm saying. People quick to jump on solicitors and barristers. Listen, mate. Just because they got a degree in law, don't make them perfect. Yeah? And so, Crash, how's your father? I said to this guy, the brief, "Are you stupid?" And he looked at me. I said, "Look, mate, window, up, look in." Say, "Sure, shut me up. Window, fingerprint, inside, 9 o'clock. Are you stupid?" Oh yeah, blah blah blah. I said okay. I didn't see it. I didn't. Don't always think because someone's called a brief or a barrister like, hey, in the right game. They ain't. So anyway, I went to court. I had to laugh at this court case. I had to laugh. This court case, this prosecution, was trying everything to get, to try and get me. But what he didn't understand is, as I was trying to tell you earlier, when you're in the game, yeah, crash out your father, yeah, get the stitching right, yeah. When you're in the game, yeah, you have to understand the law and how it works. Otherwise, man, you're flying in the wrong direction, you get me? Because you need to know how they think. You understand? If you don't know that, forget it. Crash, you got to read their books. What makes them a brief? What they got to use to become a brief and a barrister. Yeah, you read everything else. You read your car manual. Yeah, you read your exam papers at school. If you're in the game, you're in the game. If that game is your job. That's your work. It's your livelihood. So you have to learn your work, learn your livelihood. And so part of that is learning how the opposition works. And so this barrister the prosecutor was trying to say, oh, do you take drugs? I said, yeah. He said, oh, I think you were doing it to fuel your habit. And I was like, well, just now, I got to say with respect to you, drugs cost 30 quid. I don't need to go and burgle the house. I can get people that give me money and I can go and do it. I don't need to burgle the house to buy a drug. And then he said, I never said that. And so I turned around to the jury and goes, oh look, did you just hear him say that? And so what had happened, he was getting so angry and frustrated because everything he was throwing at me, I was throwing back at him. Because you see, I'd read the manual, and the first thing the manual said, look, the jury always believed the man who talks the loudest. And so, you speak up. Yes, sir. No, I did not, sir. And I tell you something else, sir. It did not happen like that. Speak up. Speak clear. You understand? Okay? Play them at their own game. You have to remember the prosecution, the judges, yeah? They all in it together. But the main thing is you have to do your homework with regards to court. You've got to do the paperwork. You've got to do your work. You've got to read all the witnesses comment. You've got to read the whole lot. Do you understand? To see what's going on, to see whether it's right. Know what you're going to believe, what you ain't going to believe. See what's right, take it out. You understand? That's what's going on with court. Yeah? When I was in the Old Bailey, and I got nicked with the police gun. There was uproar. Now, 3 of us got nicked in a stolen car, a Volvo. And when I got nicked in the Notting Hill police station with the gun, I informed the police detective, flying squad, that I never knew the car was stolen. Okay. Now, see, the headache we had was this. You're in a car carrying a firearm, okay? You gotta remember, if you get, look, you're in a car carrying a firearm. If you put your foot down on that pedal and try and get away, you have to remember, you get nicked, it's done. Conspiracy, it's over. Dead meat, finito, gone. You're getting 2015. They can throw what you want because it's conspiracy. And remember, they always treat conspiracy worse than the crime. Always remember that, yeah? Don't be thinking, yeah, conspiracy. They always treat conspiracy, worse than the crime, okay? Trust me, all right? If you don't trust me, ask those who have been nicked for conspiracy. Trust me. 20, 50 for nothing. Okay? So understand your game. Alright? So, when you get nicked with a gun, you have to know that you've got to let them know the car's not stolen. Okay? But prosecution of the Old Bailey, yeah, because sometimes they can see the game, but you know they're gonna try and twist it around. And so they wrote to me while I was in jail and said to me, Fish, Crash, if you don't admit to knowing the gun was stolen, if you don't admit to knowing the car was stolen, then we won't accept your guilty plea on the gun. But I'm like, hold on, stop. If you don't accept my guilty plea on the gun, don't accept it. Who else are you going to cross-examine? Me. No one else. Can't examine the car, you know, the way the other two get in the car. They're not having it. So, you don't have to accept my guilty. I'm not guilty, because who else are you going to go? And so what happened was, I went to the Bailey. Now, you got to remember, yeah, Crash. Remember, I'm not glamorizing or telling you how to get off of crime. I'm just telling you the way we dealt with it before we retired. I'm just telling you my experiences, what we did. That's all. I'm not glamorizing. Don't do this. I'm just telling you what we did when we was in the game. And Crash is your father. You know, so I said to the old man, do me a favour, Popsy! Popsy! Crash. And this was my step, mum and dad there. So I said to him, do me a favour. Mum, go down to Argos or anywhere cheap and buy me a tracksuit with no labels. My stepdad said, well, no, we're going to bring you a suit and we're going to do you up, get you all done, look respectable. I said, listen, Popsy, this is not about looking respectable. This is about looking like in bitch again. Yeah, you don't need to go and show a judge, yeah, when the prosecution are calling you a hitman for a certain big family. You don't need to go and show a judge signs of wealth. You really don't need it. Okay? You don't need, just like if you're a drug dealer or if you're into criminality, you need to show the police signs of wealth. I don't show no wealth. And if I do, the wealth is given to me. I like to be a nobody. Yeah, you're more powerful. All that holding on to wealth, looking all good, sliding in fast motors. Come on, mate. How many times have you been to the bar? Get a pot of cash, but going only afford one drink. Come on, mate. Plastic gangsters, you get me? So Crash. And I said, when you get me the tracksuit with no names and that, yeah? What I need you to do is just bring my stepsister, who was about 13 at the time, and you. He said, oh, what about the rest? What about the boys? So I get some of the mates. And I said, no. You have to remember, yeah? When you go to court, yeah? The first thing a judge is doing, he don't have to tell you, you just gotta know. The first thing a judge is doing, he's looking up at who you represent. You get me? He wants to see who you're representing. So you don't need to be going in no court, yeah, on a gun charge, yeah, with a load of guys that look like they just walked out of a grime concert. Nitto. Yeah, or rat concert, whatever you want to call that. You don't need it, yeah. The idea is to tone down, not up. You tone up, then you look the part, you are the part. You understand? Tone it down. And so, prosecution was saying, well, look, you know, it's a police gun, it's out the armory, it's we know he's got links to certain people, and we consider there to be more behind this than not, than what we can charge him for. But the judge, and I was quite lucky, was a circuit judge, an assize judge, and Crash How's Your Father. He said to prosecution, look, if you're going to call him a hitman, you're going to call him, you're going to guns out, then prove it. But don't come here and say, oh, we think, and think I'm going to charge him on that charge, okay? He's admitted to the gun. If you can't bring anything else to that, then leave it where it is. And so I was lucky. And it was funny because the judge, in them days, and this was mad how kids have ruined the game today, with knives and stabbing. In them days, yeah, Crash How's Your Father, bang bang, yeah. In them days, yeah, Crash, yeah. A loaded gun, you remember the police gun, .38 Smith & Wesson, Crash, was a year. A year. But now everyone's going out, bang, 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 pop, 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 stab, stab, stab. Now it's 5 years a bullet. Now, it's 5 years a bullet, is it? And 10 years, what for the gap, whatever, mate. Duh. Thick. Divs, idiots, fools. Coming to the game with no brains. No brains. You understand? Oh, I'm alright. I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life, yeah. Cool, for stabbing someone for nothing. Come on, man. Where are you living? Wake up. Yeah? Yeah. 3 things you have to have. Okay? Beauty. 3 B's. Beauty, brawn, and brains. That's it. That's the game. You understand? I remember one time in a court, I was running. Crash How's Your Father. There's a dustman, and as I'm running, there's a tree, and his dust cart's there. He seen me running. He bent over. My knees hit him. He's gone in the dust cart and over. Okay, it's not my fault. Accidents happen. So I've stopped, picked him up, and as I've gone to walk away, he said something. He said, "You're not sorry." So I've gone back, and I slapped him. I goes, "Mate, stop." I just stopped. I picked you up, and I said, "Sorry." Don't tell him I'm not sorry. And I ran off. So anyway, I'm running down the road, and Crash How's Your Father. Boom! They come from everywhere, don't they? The brigade, the brigade. The old bill come flying out of there, Crash. They're out there on it, all with a vest ready. You know what I mean? I tell you, my name, I know I'm a nobody, but for some reason my name always carries weight. I don't know why. And in the police force anyway. So Crash, I've stopped. They said, "You're nicked." So they nicked me. So when I went to court this time, I decided, you know, I want to represent myself. And that's all. Don't be scared to represent yourself. Although when I say don't be scared, understand that when you represent yourself, you need to understand the game. You have me read that book, you understand what you're doing. And so Crash, I represented myself. And so the first witness was a journalist for the Daily Telegraph. And he was possibly well spoken. Crash How's Your Father. And he came into the dock. And they said, "Can you tell us what you do?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, I'm a journalist for the Daily Telegraph. And prosecution can say, "Could you tell us what you saw?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I was walking along Wandsworth Bridge Road when all of a sudden I heard a rather loud clatter. And I turned around to see that gentleman there, the road sweeper, on the floor, and that young man in the dark, okay, walking back, picking him up. And then I heard that young man, the black man, say, 'I apologise,' walk away, and then came back and slapped him." So the prosecutor said, "Thank you very much." So I was representing myself. So I said, "Oh, good morning to you, sir. And he said to the prosecutor, "I also saw him hit him with a straight right hand like that." like that. I thought, well, you're for a right hand like that. I'm in bits. So, anyway, it's my turn. So I said, oh, thank you very much, sir, for coming to court today. I said, okay. So you said you looked round, you saw, and you heard of Rubber that guy. He said yes. I said, you also said that I turned around, picked him up and walked away and apologised. He said yes. I said thank you very much, because the witness suddenly all of a sudden forgot to mention that I apologised. So I'm happy you've now cleared that up for the court. I said, and then secondly now, you said I walked away and then threw a straight right hand. He said yes. I said, did you not hear him call me saying, you're not sorry, you think, you're not sorry, you black bastard? He said, wow, wow, wow. I was like, oh, man, don't ever do it. Take your time. That's the Telegraph. He said, well, I never heard him say that. So I said, okay. But then again, you did say you was at a distance and you heard words being exchanged, but you never heard what the words were. So he said, no, but I don't recall hearing that. But I said he could have said it. He said, well, yes. I said, well, sir, thank you very much. So anyway, I went into the dock now and prosecution said to me, Mr. Fish, I believe that you did throw, maliciously and viciously throw a right hand at the road sweeper. And I also believe that he never called you a black bastard or any names whatsoever. I said, well, sir, one, I believe he did. And secondly, and most importantly, I believe I was there and you was not. End of the story. It's true though, isn't it? I don't need to believe I was there. I was there, man. I did not believe. So anyway, Crash, how's your father? Yeah. He said, so anyway, from the moment I said that, it was done. Now, the judge, I felt sorry for the judge, because the judge now, well, the judge, the reason I felt sorry for him was because the judge now, he had a problem. He had a problem. Because he could see now that this road sweeper had lied, because he refused to say that. I said, sorry. And the journalist said I did. So he knew now he was going up again. And he also, but he knew that I said I'd give him a backhand. Because when you looked, he had a black eye, but the black eye was on this side of the face, which means that I hit him with a backhand. Because when you box, you cross. Yeah? We don't cross, but you go opposite. So I showed the judge that, because I give him a backhand, it was on that side, that if I was to punch him with the right hand, I would have hit this side. Do you get me? Not this side. Yeah? So so the judge understood that, and he knew. So he knew that I never punched him. He knew I slapped him. And I said to him, I'm a boxer, mate. Listen, I hit this geezer. I said, you got my record, son. You got my CV. You know. So Crash, the judge, had a bad one. So, but he still had to fine me. So anyway, he fined me and said, if I don't pay the fine, I'll go 7 days back to prison. But what I'd done, I never paid the fine. And true to his word, 7 days later, and I felt sorry for the judge, because 7 days later, an 11-year-old Bill come through the door, took me to court, and he said, Mr. Brown, Mr. Fish. I said, yeah. He said, you came here 7 days ago, I asked you to pay a fine. Can you tell me why you didn't? I said, well, Your Honour, you yourself said that you didn't feel I instigated the crime, you felt he instigated, and you didn't believe that I hit him, and yet you still fined me. So I said, Your Honour, in protest, I refuse to pay the fine. So he said, well, in that case, Mr. Fish, I have to give you 7 days. I was gutted for him, really, because the judge was crispy. He didn't want to do it, but he had to. So he gave me 7 days. And crash out your father, that was it. But that's what I'm trying to tell you about court cases. You've got to understand the game. If you love the rest of it, you've got to love court, you have to love prison, you have to love everything that goes with it. Yeah? Love your game. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe, okay, to keep the show alive. Remember where you saw me first. Remember where you heard me laugh. Crash, how's your father? Bang, bang, Ray Hill, how'd you feel? Oh, shit. And I've got to give a big shout out to, hang on, let's have a quick look. Toby Hayes. I was on the middle of Kew Bridge, skint, in the middle of nowhere, trying to meet Charlie Southgate, and Toby Hayes gives me £20. Toby, you're my next podcast. I've come back now. I'm live. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, London's craziest gangster. Remember, you ain't even heard it all. You ain't even seen it. Trust me. And you know, with me, it's funny, you know, in the real life, when you see the film, the movies, when you see a gangster and all the rest of it, you love them. When you get a real gangster, you hate him. But this gangster's not a soldier of the dark. He's a soldier of the light. And I wish all of you a really good evening, good day, and you take care and keep yourselves safe and well. Bang, bang, crash.